Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of our Pokemon Battle Series, the School of the Hard Knocks. So throughout this episode, like every other, we'll be jumping on to the Pokemon Global Link Battle Spot ladder, playing under the Championship Battle rules, which are the equivalent rule set of the VGC 2017 season. So we are picking up again with this Hard Trick Room team. We did say yesterday that we'd probably make some changes in today's episode, but after kind of gathering my thoughts together, going over your comments, I'm not going to make any drastic changes just yet. Now, we do have the live stream tomorrow on our Twitch channel, so we can go over some changes in this evening's episode. So do let me know what your thoughts are going into tomorrow's stream, because we will be playing VGC tomorrow on the stream, and I'm quite happy to make some changes. Now, my initial thoughts were possibly changing the Drampa to the Gastrodon, and also changing the Clefable to a Smeagol. Now, it might seem a bit weird, but I do like the support option that we've got with Follow Me with the Clefable. I don't really want to lose that. It helps us against Taunt and other things, so I would like to keep that. I want another Trick Room user in the team, because I feel like at the minute we're really relying so heavily on Misdreavus, and you know, sometimes when we get into bad situations where Misdreavus can't get a second Trick Room off, it really hurts the team. So having a second Trick Room user would be very handy to have, maybe late game as well. So Smeagol kind of covers that. It also gives us Fake Out support, and the other option, what I was thinking of as well, is running a very slow Smeagol. With the Focus Sash, we'll take the Focus Sash off Crabominable and give it Endeavour. So it gives us a way to do huge damage to pretty much anything that's not a Ghost type, and put it in range for whatever partner we've got next to it to pick up a KO. So they're just a couple of ideas that I've got. One change we have made in today's episode, so I need to give a big shout out to not just two people, but to everyone in general, because all of the comments were amazing, and your thoughts and feedback on what changes we could make, and if we do make them and things like that, or whether we just approach matches differently, has been amazing. So thank you so much, guys. You're all absolutely amazing, and do keep them coming, because we're going to have to play a few more episodes at least with this team if we don't take it into next week. Do let me know as well if you want to see a new team next week as well. I did mention on yesterday's episode if you want to see a new team played next week, and if you do, what Pokemon you'd like to see that built around techs, archetypes, things like that, let me know. But as I was getting to initially, I just want to give a big shout out to Yuri and also Alessandro, because they give the idea to put Energy Ball on Drampa. Now, we have struggled a little bit against Gigalith in situations, but if we have Drampa with the Energy Ball, it gives us another option to hit it outside of just Crabominable, which sometimes, you know, can't deal with Gigalith by itself, so it gives us another outlet. So we'll try that in today's episode. I've mentioned a few of the changes that I'd like to make, and I'd just like to hear your thoughts on what you want to see in tomorrow's stream. So just putting it out there. Right, now we have our first opponent of the day, and they are running a team of Celesteela, Tapu Koko, Gigalith, our favourite Pokemon at the minute, Kartana, Garchomp and Arcanine. So packed full of Pokemon that we're having big problems with. So let's see how we can approach this a bit differently. We know the Tapu Koko could potentially carry Taunt, Arcanine could carry Roar. Gigalith, again, if we get the Trick Room up, it's going to be a bit of a pain, because it brings that Sandstorm to the field as well. It kind of disrupts our Sun mod. But I feel like, do we want to bring Drampa here? I think we probably should, because like we were saying before we got into this match, Drampa gives us a nice option again against Gigalith. So we definitely need our Trick Room Pokemon, so we need Misdreavus here. I feel like we do probably need Torkoal. Maybe not as as something to lead with though. Let's bring Clefable here, just because of the Follow Me support it does offer, and you know, outside of that, because we don't want to get Taunt. If our Trick Room gets stopped, then that's going to be one of the worst things that we can have happening. Let's bring Drampa, and let's bring Torkoal as well, and lock in with these four and see how we get on in our first match of the day. So the thing is with this as well, I kind of want to, I feel like I want to bring Crabominable, and maybe Clefable isn't the right choice, but I feel like the Follow Me support won't just benefit the Misdreavus, it can benefit the other Pokemon as well. So we'll see how we get on. It's just, like we say, I'm scared of the Taunt from the Tapu Koko. if you get taunted, that's a strategy out the window straight away. My opponent can start really getting a lot of momentum right off the bat. So just being able to kind of pull that away and get a Trick Room up gives us a lot of momentum on our side of the field. So, do you see my opponent lead off with Tapu Koko Garchomp? So what I'm going to do is go for the Trick Room, and thing is, my opponent probably knows that we've got Follow Me, so they could potentially double into Clefable, which would give us a free switch into something, but then again it kind of just sacks Clefable for the sake of it. So an option here would be we could Protect, but then is that Protect worth the risk to take for Misdreavus not to get the Trick Room up? And I don't think it is in this situation, so I think we will go for the Follow Me. Hopefully Clefable makes it through this turn, and there we go. So we're going to get that Follow Me off, pull everything in. Okay, so we're just going to see a Discharge from Tapu Koko. Does decent damage to both Pokemon on the field, and we're going to see the Garchomp go for an Earthquake, hitting their own Tapu Koko, which probably will pick up the KO on it. Misdreavus is immune to it, obviously with the Levitate ability. Koko does go down, but Clefable doesn't. Clefable manages to come through, so this turn kind of working out massively in our favour. The Tapu Koko, a big threat there, is off the field. We still need to deal with this Garchomp, which is a bit of an issue. But we do have a Clefable sitting in front of it. We could maybe go for a Moonblast this next turn, or go for a Heal Pulse. And depending on what my opponent brings in... okay, so it is that Gigalith. So Gigalith is probably going to go before everything else on the field here. Can't see the Garchomp going for another Earthquake though. But you never know, the Garchomp might be locked in, it might be banded, but I very much doubt that it is. We do have Dramper in the back, we do have the ability to bring it in. I just feel like let's go for a Shadow Ball onto the Gigalith. I kind of feel like we want to get rid of the Clefable here, so let's just go for a Heal Pulse into the Misdreavus slot. Gigalith's probably going to take the Clefable down though with a Rock Slide before we're able to move. We see the Garchomp just Protect here. And what's the Gigalith going to go for? Just a Rock Slide. Okay. And we do flinch with Misdreavus, which isn't ideal, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Now what do we bring in? Let's bring in Dramper here. Now I know on most Gigalith we can go for like the Energy Ball is going to be a 2-hit KO onto it. Thing is with the Garchomp, if it's got Dragon Claw, that throws a few issues up. And this is my point when I talk about Gastrodon in these situations. Like Gastrodon is perfect to bring in this situation because it resists the rock type attacks, and that's something that we haven't really got too much of on our team. So there's not too much I can do with Misdreavus. I don't want to switch in Torkoal here. I'm just going to go for a Shadow Ball onto Gigalith, and I'm going to go for a Draco Meteor into the Garchomp slot. So we need to try and get rid of the Garchomp. We know it protected last turn, so it's likely it's probably going to go for an attack here. We do actually underspeed the Gigalith, which is pretty interesting. So it's not a minimum speed Gigalith here. Do take a drop in our special attack, but we do get rid of the Garchomp as well at the same time. We're just going to see a Rock Slide come out from the Gigalith. Let's probably take Misdreavus down, does it? No, we do survive, so we are going to get a Shadow Ball off. So we get some damage onto the Gigalith, but that does hardly anything. Hardly anything at all. Okay, so we've got our Torkoal to bring in now. And let's see what my opponent's last Pokemon is. Maybe it's that Cortana. But I wonder if an energy ball and a solar beam is going to be enough to take down the Gigalith. That shadow ball did hardly any damage. I'm wondering whether that Gigalith's assault vest or not. So there's the Torkoal. And it's Arcanine. Okay. We do get the Sun Up, take away that Sand Stream. We know that we're going to be able to move before that Gigalith does. So we can potentially go for a Solar Beam and an Energy Ball into it. Maybe enough, but it depends if the Gigalith is Assault Vest or not. So we'll go for it, we'll see if we can get the KO on it. I don't know if we're going to be able to. I know the Sand was up for that previous turn, but I just feel like the Shadow Ball should be doing more, even in a Sandstorm. So it kind of indicates that it is Assault Vest. We do good damage. Is the Energy Ball going to be enough with the Life Orb? It is. So we get rid of the biggest threat to us right now. We've got to deal with this Arcanine, which is a bit of a problem. It's probably going to attack into Drampa, you've got to imagine. But it goes for a Snarl. Okay. Which isn't ideal. But we can just go for... Do we go for a Z move right now? I think we do. Let's go for the Inferno Overdrive onto the Arcanine and go for a Draco Meteor. As well, let's just try and get as much damage onto this Arcanine as we can. I don't think this combination of attacks is going to be enough, especially after the Snarl, and we've already Draco'd with our Drampa, so... Arcanine's going to be able to eat this up quite easily. But it does decent enough damage. Decent enough. Here's a Draco Meteor. Let's see what this does. Again, doing good damage. Arcanine in berry range. Because you would imagine it's probably got a Super Berry. And... the dimensions turn back to normal. I think Eruption probably is a bit more powerful at the moment. So I will go for an Eruption, and I totally expect Drampa to go down here to a Snarl. But I'm going to try and keep Drampa around on the field for a bit longer. I might just go for a Protect here. Just to reduce the Snarl damage on this next turn. Because I can imagine the Arcanine just carrying on going for Snarl after Snarl after Snarl. Yeah. Problem is we can't get around not proccing the berry that the Arcanine's probably got. And there it is. So I don't think we're going to be able to win this, to be honest. Because we're just not going to be able to damage this Arcanine enough. So we can go for a Draco. I don't think we're going to be able to take another Snarl with Drampa though, which is a bit unfortunate. Yes, Drampa does go down. We'll take another drop with Torkoal. Oh, look at that damage. It's terrible. And we're going to have one more turn of the Sun now, I think. And that is going to be it. Yeah. My opponent just going to be able to Snarl us to death. And this is why Arcanine's so good, even against Sun teams, especially with that Snarl, you know, with the support, with the berry. Kind of put it into range, but then you just can't get the damage onto it to take it down unless you get a critical hit like that, and you kind of come right back into the game. But then again, I still don't think we've got really too much to deal with Arcanine. I think we're still, even at this point, I don't think we've got enough to take it down. Unless we get another critical hit, which would be a bit unfortunate for my opponent. There's another Snarl. You can see the damage it's doing. Probably 2 more Snarls is going to pick up the KO onto Torkoal. And we're definitely not going to be able to take this Arcanine down in 2 turns. So we'll just go for another Flamethrower. We'll see another Snarl come out here. Yeah. And this should put us in range for the next one. Yeah. All it can save us is a crit. Nah. So very good game to my opponent. Unless we see a Snarl miss. You can always miss, can't it? You never know. Very close game, but my opponent not even chancing it. Going for that Flare Blitz. Gonna pick up the KO onto Torkoal and take the game. So very good game to my opponent. Very close at the end, but it really wasn't that close because the critical hit kind of really pulled us right back into it. But even that wasn't enough. Just Arcanine showing why it's one of the more premier Pokemon in the format. Even though people don't like seeing it all the time because it is everywhere, but it's everywhere for a reason. So, bit unfortunate start to the episode, but we'll jump into our next one. But like I say again, Gastrodon there, even the Snarl though in that situation would be a bit problematic for us. But the thing is with Gastrodon, which I would probably play in Gastrodon, is probably Toxic Recover. So we've got some sort of stall mode in the team, and I do feel like that would give us a lot more utility against the Pokemon that we're probably struggling a lot with at the minute. So I'm going to make a conscious decision. I still want to hear your thoughts on it. If you're totally opposed to me doing it for the stream tomorrow, then we won't go ahead with it. But I am really feeling like we need to play the Gastrodon. I don't know too much about the Clefable swap for the Smeagol. Let me know your thoughts on that. But I'm definitely going to play Gastrodon tomorrow. It's been one of those things that I've been toying around with in my head over and over again. It just seems to be something that would make a lot of sense in this team, and give us a bit more stability as well. So do let me know your thoughts on the Smeagol idea, but we'll try Gastrodon on the stream tomorrow. Unfortunately, Drampa might have to go, but you never know. I might have a think about some other Pokemon that we could maybe replace it with, because I do like Drampa a lot. But we have our next Pokemon of the day. Opponent of the day, not Pokemon. Jelly Sound, and they're running a team of Mandibuzz, Tapu Lele, Pheromosa, Salamence, Electivire, and Arcanine. So Mandibuzz is going to be a bit of an issue here for us because Mandibuzz probably does have Taunt, but we do have Follow Me, so we can get around that to a certain extent. And I'm going to bring that lead Mischievous Clefable here. What else do we want in this match? We definitely want Torkoal. Or do we want Torkoal? I feel like Drampa could be extremely good here. Muck could be very good as well. Crabominable actually isn't a bad shout with the Sash as well. Because with the Hyper Cutter, we don't really need to worry too much about the Intimidate users. And if we can get it into a Trick Room, even Arcanine's heavily threatened by it, so let's bring back the Crab for this game. Let's see if we can make it a little slight improvement from that last one. So we're going to lead off with Mischievous Clefable, a kind of coined lead at the minute. And we see Mandibuzz and Salamence come up for our opponent. Okay. So you've got to think there's probably a Taunt coming out from the Mandibuzz here. So I will just go for a Trick Room. And I will just go for a Follow Me with Clefable, just to pull in that Taunt and allow us to get the Trick Room up. You may see the Salamence switch out for the Lele here, just to give that Mandibuzz special defensive boost. It's probably holding the Psychic Seed. You've got to imagine it is. So there's just a Flamethrower from Salamence. a Snarl. Okay. So you do get the Trick Room up. I feel like we want to bring in maybe Crabominable here. So let's do that. Let's bring in Crab and we could just go for Moonblast into the Mandibuzz. You've got to remember we do have Heal Pulse as well with Clefable. So we can, I don't think Crabominable is going to go down to a Flamethrower from a Salamence. So we should be safe enough. And if we need to, we can Heal Pulse this next turn. So no Protect's coming out from my opponent. I do get the Moonblast off onto the Mandibuzz. We'll see what my opponent goes for. Just another Snarl with the Mandibuzz. We'll break the Sash on the Crab. For the lower Clefable fences, and there's a Flamethrower, is into the Crabominable though. Okay. But we take that, like, not too bad. But we get burnt, which is the worst thing, and it was a risk switching it in on that. But that is super unfortunate, like really unfortunate. And we do have the Ice Hammer that we can take advantage of. Does the Salamence protect here? Or switch out? You've got to imagine it does. We'll go for the Ice Hammer anyway. We could just target into the Mandibuzz. Yeah, let's go for the Mandibuzz slot. The Mandibuzz is less likely to switch out and less likely to protect, so we can go for that. And I'm just going to go for a Heal Pulse into the Crabominable and try and keep it alive. That burn has really hampered us. So there's a Salamence switch. Is the Tapu Lele coming in? Yeah. And there's the Mandibuzz's Psychic Seed activating. You're going to get the Ice Hammer. But it misses. Are you kidding? Okay. So we're not getting the rolls at all here. And Mandibuzz going for a Roost. And our Trick Room turns are really kind of slipping away from us right now. So we've got 2 more turns of Trick Room. I'm going to Ice Hammer into Tapu Lele, and I'm going to just protect Clefable here. We might lose Crabominable, but I guess then it gives us a chance to get Misdreavus back in, get another Trick Room off, and see if we can kind of make more use of that. We do go for the Ice Hammer, do hit this time. Get some damage off onto the Lele, which is nice. We do see a Foul Play come out into the Crabominable. Doing good damage, and a Moonblast as well. So doubling into that Crabominable here. And it will take it down. So what do we do? Do we bring in Misdreavus? Yeah, because Misdreavus can still hit that Lele for good damage with a Shadow Ball, so we can potentially pick up a KO there. But whether the Tapu Lele protects or not is another thing. We will go for that. And I'm just going to go for another... I'm just going to double into the Lele here with a Moonblast and a Shadow Ball, because a combination of both should be enough to hopefully take this Lele down. There's a Moonblast doing the tiniest amount of damage, so we need this to take this Lele down. Is it going to be enough? It isn't enough. Okay. So Misdreavus is probably going to be the target here. Hopefully we don't see a Shattered Psyche. Just a Moonblast. Is it into the Lele? No, it's not. It's into the Misdreavus. But we do take it. So we are going to be able to get at least one more Trick Room up. So we'll go for a Follow Me with Clefable. Get the Trick Room up with Misdreavus. We might be able to keep Misdreavus alive as well. With Heal Pulse support. There's a Moonblast from Lele. Clefable's actually going to go down here, which is not great at all. So we're going to be down to our Torkoal. But with that special defense boost, I don't know if we're going to be able to take down the Mandibuzz with Torkoal. I really don't. But we don't need to worry about that too much because we do have Destiny Bond, so we could go for a Destiny Bond here with Mischievous. Because you've got to think that we're probably better off just protecting Torkoal, avoiding any snarl damage, and just allowing the Mandibuzz to take down the Mischievous, and then the Mandibuzz going down, and then we can start rolling out our Trick Room turns the next turn, whatever my opponent's got to bring in after this. So we protect Torkoal as a Destiny Bond. Hopefully the Mandibuzz goes for a Snarl, hopefully it hits. There's a Snarl. Does it hit? It does. Hopefully this takes us down. Oh my god, it doesn't. It leaves us with 2 health. We're getting like no rolls here at all. Okay. So this is really not bad, not great at all. I think we just go for the same again, to be honest. Let's just go for an Eruption this time around. We're probably going to get snarled. We should have just went for that the last turn. We're just not getting the rolls at all. We see the Tapu Lele switch out, Salamence come back in. It's going to be able to take these Eruptions super easy. Gets an Intimidate off. There's the Eruption. See the damage onto the Mandibuzz. Yeah, nowhere near enough. Destiny Bond fails. Does take Mischievous down. And that's it, I'm afraid, unfortunately. That is going to be game. The burn on Crabominable was pretty bad. The miss as well with the Ice Hammer was pretty bad the following turn. But we maybe should have follow made with Clefable just to make sure we got the Crabominable in for free. You know, I don't know. That is a bit disappointing. Very disappointing. Let's try and take this Mandibuzz down with us. Let's go for the Inferno Overdrive. I don't want to just go get forward. If you can take the Mandibuzz down, I'll be happy. I'm not happy, but makes it slightly better. I think if we got the Crabominable in unburnt, then we would have been able to do some good damage to stuff. Would have been able to get rid of the Mandibuzz potentially. You know, it can take the boost from the Psychic Seed, but it's not a defensive boost, it's a special defensive boost. And as we see there, it's so bulky. Even an Inferno Overdrive in the Sun boosted, it's not doing anything. Good game to my opponent. Just a few bad rolls on our end, which is a bit unfortunate, but you know, they are the cards we were dealt, and we just have to get on with that. There was decisions there we kind of put ourselves into those positions to get caught out by, so you know, we can't blame everything on the RNG. We switched our Crabominable in, and we knew the risks. You know, we saw the Salamence the previous turn go for a Flamethrower, and I guess just wanting to try and get damage onto the Mischievous, knowing how bulky it was just an obvious target there to go into the Mischievous. But never mind, we'll move on. We'll have one more game, and hopefully we can kind of try and turn things around in preparation for this stream tomorrow. And there we go, we've got our next opponent, easy 1626, running a team of Politoed, Arcanine, Tapu Bulu, Araquanid, Mimikyu, and Magnezone. So definitely a Trick Room mode in here with the Mimikyu, Araquanid, Magnezone. We've got the Tapu Bulu for the terrain support, supporting Magnezone. Arcanine against those ground type attacks it's normally weak against. We've got the Politoed to bring the rain, and the Araquanid to take advantage of that. Muck is going to be pretty useful here. Torkoal's going to be huge here. And probably Drampa, you've got to imagine. Although the problem is my opponent leading off with the Mimikyu, so we need to try and make sure we get rid of that early on. So let's leave Mischievous, Muck, got Torkoal and Drampa in the back and lock in. With plenty of time to spare, unlike usual. Yeah, the combination of Politoed with Araquanid pretty scary, because if my opponent gets into a situation where that Araquanid is in the rain and it's able to launch off Liquidations or Hydro Vortex or anything like that, it's going to be doing massive amounts of damage. But we've got to get a win, because we haven't had a win so far today, and we can't go away without one in at least one episode. I feel like this team is a bit like linear at times, and without a second Trick Room mode, it does make it quite difficult sometimes when your Trick Room mode kind of just falls away and we've got nothing to do. But it's, you know, at the same time, it's nice playing hard Trick Room. Like, it's a nice archetype of team to play, and you know, there's always little tweaks that you can make to it along the way to try and improve it and make your matchup a lot better. So you see my opponent lead off with the Politoed and the Magnezone. So, what are we going to see my opponent go for here? And what do we want to go for here? Do we want to go for a Trick Room? Or do we want to just... I don't know. I don't really want to switch. Like, I could switch Torkoal in, but at the same time, if we switch Torkoal in, it's going to make it extremely difficult for us to operate, and my opponent might see that switch coming, so they could potentially switch in Araquanid. So I'm not going to Trick Room. I'm just going to go for a Shadow Ball and a Magnezone, a Shadow Ball and a knockoff into that Magnezone slot. You might see the Politoed switch up, but we don't. Actually, under speeds Mischievous, which is pretty interesting. And we get a knockoff into the Magnezone as well. We will be able to remove whatever item it's holding. It is one of those super berries. We are just going to see a Skull come out into the Mischievous. We are able to take that though because of the Eviolite. And we see a Thunder as well. Doubling into it? Yeah. Okay. That's not the worst situation in the world. We're probably going to be able to take a Scald from Politoed. But we might want to try and get a Trick Room up here. So I wonder if a knockoff is going to be enough to take down this Magnezone. Because regardless of whatever else happens, we do need the Trick Room up. So what we could do is go for a Trick Room. And because we know the Magnezone is kind of going to go for a Thunder, we could bring in the Torkoal here. Because it's going to weaken the Scald and it reduces the accuracy of Thunder to like 50%. So the likelihood of it hitting is literally a coin flip. So if it goes in our favour, we should be good. So the Magnezone actually withdraws. You see Arcanine hit the field. Okay. So we're definitely going to get a Trick Room up, which is nice. Arcanine gets the Intimidate off. And Politoed going for a Scald into Mischievous again, but we are able to take that quite comfortably. It does pick up the burn, bit unfortunate there. Okay, so I'm going to switch Mischievous out. I'm going to bring in Drampa, and I'm going to go for a And what's my opponent got on the back? Have they brought the Tapu Bulu? That's the question. Because if they have, they've got nothing to really switch in for the Eruption. But it's probably the Araquanid, right? Kind of has to be. I'm just going to go for the Eruption anyway, switch in Drampa, and let's see how my opponent adjusts to this. So there's the Politoed switching out. That makes a lot of sense for the Magnezone. So the Magnezone will go down here. Politoed comes back in for free and gets the Rain back up. But in the same regard as that, we can switch out our Torkoal, bring in Misdrevious. That probably will go down to whatever my opponent throws at it, and we should be able to bring back our Torkoal in, which would be nice. So we see the Arcanine, another Snarling Arcanine, which is a bit of a problem for us. So we need to try and manage this. But we do have Muck as well, so all hope is not lost. We see the Politoed come back in. And at this point I just want to chip down the Arcanine, so I'm going to go for a Hyper Voice with Drampa. Could go for an Energy Ball into the Politoed. And I'm just going to switch in Misdrevious, because even if it doesn't get, well, it should get hit with something, you would imagine here. So it should go down, give us that free switch into Torkoal. And I guess here might be a good position for the Arcanine to possibly switch out if my opponent's got the Araquanid in the back. So we might see that make an appearance if my opponent's got it. If not, then it's not likely it has it. So no switches. We do get the Hyper Voice off with Drampa. Do a little bit of chip damage because of that Snarl. Unfortunately, not doing too much. And we see a Perish Song come out from the Politoed. Okay. And there's just another Snarl from the Arcanine. So like I say, should take down this Misdrevious with the burn damage. But now it's probably worth bringing in Muck. Going for a knockoff into that Arcanine. Get rid of its berry so we don't run into the same problems as we did that last game. And switch out Drampa into Torkoal. In this point of the game, it's quite pivotal that we keep our 3 Pokemon and we get rid of one of my opponent's Pokemon before they get rid of one of ours. So we've got that option to try and switch around and bring our weather back onto the field when we can. So we will just switch Drampa out. I think we're pretty safe doing that, and at least with the knockoff as well into the Arcanine, threatening it. You know, we're going to get rid of that berry and take that health restoring ability out of the equation altogether, so that would be nice. And also by switching Drampa out, we kind of reset the Perish Song as well on it, so you know, it's not an issue on our side of the field anymore. It's more of an issue on my opponent's side of the field, but they're probably going to be inclined to switch around. Yeah, there's the Politoed straight out, and it is the Araquanid, so that is super interesting. My opponent getting themselves into a nice position though now, because this next turn they'll be able to switch out the Arcanine, which has revealed that it is carrying the Assault Vest, into the Politoed and go for a Hydro Vortex with the Rain up. Okay, so Arcanine's Perish count is on 2, but it's definitely 100% going to switch out to Politoed this next turn. So we'll just protect our Muck, because that might be one of the targets for my opponent with a Hydro Vortex. We'll just protect Muck. And there's the Arcanine switch out. Here's the Politoed. And your Araquanid might not even have the Z move, but it's likely that it does with the Rain. Kind of just stacking with that makes it so powerful. And there it is. Wonder which... You've got to think it's probably into the Muck, because once it gets rid of the Muck, it's easy to take down the Torkoal. But it may not be as well. It is into the Muck. So hopefully this will do a lot of damage, I would imagine, even through the Protect. Yeah. Damn. Oh, a crit as well. So that doesn't help us at all. Right, okay. So we can't protect Muck this turn. We know we can't knock off the Araquanid. We could maybe go for... do we switch in Torkoal here? That's the question. Because we probably could and go for a Hyper Voice with Drampa. So let's do that. Switch in Torkoal, switch Muck out. And just go for a Hyper Voice. We'll get the sun up at least. We might see. Do we see a switch on my opponent's side? No switch. We just see a Scald. It's going to be into the Torkoal. Are we going to lose Torkoal here? Yeah, we are. Which is a bit unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Because my opponent can play around now to get the rain back up. Let's see how much this Hyper Voice does. It's just not enough at all. But maybe, just maybe, that Araquanid is in Draco Meteor range now. So we could go for a knockoff into the Politoed slot and a Draco Meteor into the Araquanid slot. We might see the Politoed switch out into the Arcanine, but as long as the Araquanid doesn't protect here, we should take it down. We might have some help of winning this game. So there's the Arcanine switch in. So my opponent's going to try and get that rain up. Just getting the Intimidate off. Araquanid protects as well, which is not ideal. We are going to get a knockoff. And it is just enough to pick up the KO onto the Arcanine. There's the Draco Meteor. And what does my opponent go for here? Does he target into the Muck? Or probably more likely target into the Drampa, you've got to imagine, because the Draco Meteor probably will pick up the KO onto it. So my logic would be to attack into the Drampa, double into the Drampa, get rid of it, because you're not too worried about the Muck at this point. We should survive at least one liquidation. So let's go for a Poison Jab into the Araquanid. The thing is, like, I don't think 2 Poison Jabs are going to be enough to take the Araquanid down. But a knockoff might, depends what, let's see, let's go for a knockoff into the Politoed. I don't think on -1 we're going to take the Politoed out though, but my opponent here could just double into the Muck, to be honest, as well. We do outspeed the Politoed, which is pretty crazy. We actually take it down, so that opens the game up massively for us. See, Wikiberry, and they do target into the Drampa, so okay. If Drampa can survive, potentially we can take it down with a Draco Meteor. So it's all about whether Drampa can survive this liquidation in the rain. I don't know if we're going to be able to. But we can go for a Poison Jab with our Muck and see if Muck can come through here for us. It's going to be very close. Poison Jab. Oh, we get the poison, so we can take this game now, I think, regardless, because the poison will put it in range for another Poison Jab the next turn. Ooh. Okay, so this actually complicates things a little bit. But we hit the Draco, so we get it out of there. So I thought Muck might be able to survive a liquidation in the rain, but obviously not. But we take the game. Drampa saves the day, so that's all that matters. Really good game to my opponent, and we managed to eke out a little victory towards the end there. So we're going to wrap things up there, guys. It's probably been a little longer than we wanted the episode to be, but I did want to try and get at least one win in today's episode. I felt like game 1 was close. Game 2, we had a few bad rolls made, maybe made a few bad decisions with what we did, but you know, you can't help that sometimes. Like the rolls did not help in that game at all. Like I say, I want to make those changes to the team for tomorrow. I want to include Gastrodon, even though Draco came through right at the end there. Again, that last game, Gastrodon would have been so good in that last game with that rain mode. It would have taken so many big issues out of the equation. So I really feel like Gastrodon's a really good shout in this team in particular. And let me know what your thoughts are with the Clefable for the Smeagol, because that's something I would like to get your thoughts on as well. We will be back later on in a jiffy with a BattleSpot Doubles series episode this evening, so do stay tuned for that, guys. I did want to squeeze one in this week, but the main thing is we're going to be back tomorrow evening on our Twitch channel. We're going to be kicking off around 8 o'clock like we did last week, playing VGC, playing this team. We'll just hang out for an hour. I'll have some talk about Worlds, what you guys think, if you're going to be watching the event, what you think is going to unfold over the event, and everything in between. It's just going to be a lot of fun, so do come by if you can. It will be great. If not, I'll upload the episode straight to YouTube once it is finished rendering on the Twitch side of things, so you'll be able to catch it after that, and then we'll finish up the week with the School of Hard Knocks episode on Friday. And then, like I've been saying all episode and yesterday, let me know what your ideas are for next week. If you want to see us carry on this team, maybe expand our ideas a bit, change things up and keep going with it, or if you'd prefer to see something brand new, we'll change it up. And if you've got anything in mind, let me know what you would like to see played. I've got a few ideas in mind if no one can think of anything. But if there's certain things you want to see played, let me know and we can put them into a team for next week. So, thanks as always for tuning in, guys. It's always a pleasure. As always, if you've enjoyed the episode, please leave a like on the video. It's massively appreciated. It does help the channel out a lot. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of our daily content from School of Hard Knocks, BattleSpot Double Series, Best of 3 Battler, which will be back tomorrow as well. So we're kicking off. We have got a Best of 3 Battler tomorrow, so do stay tuned for that. That'll be up around 8:30, 8 o'clock tomorrow. If you can't make the stream, it'll be there as and when around the stream. If you can make the stream, watch it afterwards or whatever. And a QR code series as well. So you go away, have an amazing, lovely evening, guys. Afternoon, morning, whatever time of day it is. And I will see you all tomorrow. So look forward to seeing you for the stream. Looking forward to hanging out. And you take care of yourself. So until then, guys, bye-bye.